So, dann wollen wir den beiden mal Zeit geben, sich wieder umzuziehen. In der Zwischenzeit, I'm going to switch to English for a moment because the next team has international students and for that they're going to hold their presentation in English. So, let's leave the field of futuristic technology and return to nature for a bit. An average tree needs many years to grow tall, but the next team will show you how to plant grown trees in mere seconds. Team LandsApp, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so we're LandsApp, and this is our project. So when you usually go to reinvent your garden or redesign it, you'll go to landscape architects or designers, and the process, the initial process of designing and consultation is very, very long. So this is where we step in. We're trying to reinvent that, bring technology towards it, and make it a faster process. So the problem with this is that the process of designing a garden with a client is very long. It's a long process. It involves many consultations, loads of sketches, and it could take up to 2 to 3 weeks. As you see on the left, it's a photo, pre-taken photo with the designer's sketches on top. And our solution is to bring technology into that, so augmented reality, an app behind that we can place assets into, and make the whole app, make the process more client-based. It brings the client into the process more, gives them more of an idea of what they're getting. And yeah, so the app, it involves placing AR objects into the scene via the iPad camera. Makes the process more intuitive and a lot more easier for the clients.
So, how does the app work? Well, first of all, you have to be outdoor, right at the spot where you are going to change the place. So you click on the ground and open the library. Here you have trees, flowers, bushes, and other objects. Then you place the one that you have selected. You can also scale it and choose another asset and add it there. If you are not satisfied with it, you can just delete it. If you have selected an asset, then you can place multiple ones in a row and can change the size of them individually. Sorry. Yeah. So you continue to build the scene to give the impression what you can change, what plant matter you can set in, what furniture, and give your customer an impression what the place is going to look like. So next to some technical background, we used Unreal Engine, a program where you can use 3D models and give them some function and physics. Here we see a window, a so-called node, and you're connecting nodes with each other to generate functions or to give them physics. So here, as an example, we have the size slider. We connect the slider with a so-called pawn. It's just like another word for the ID of an object. So you don't change all the objects, so on one specific one that you have already placed in the scene. So we give this an ID and also say, yeah, it's that one, the selected one. Then we add a vector with X, Y, and Z to change the size of the object in all 3 dimensions. So you can increase or decrease the size of it. And then, of course, you have the scaling function itself, and you connect the scaling function with the selected object and with the vector you are scaling it with it. And just like that, we have built our app. You don't have to type the code in yourself. You have it visually with those nodes, and it's a little bit beginner-friendlier than just starting to write with simple code.
Okay, so throughout the project, we came up with 3 core functions that need to be within the app so that the app would work correctly. These came about through our testing with our target groups. This is select assets, delete assets, and scaling. The first one came about through our first test, whereby the test subject hadn't got any visual feedback as to which asset they had selected. So the need for a asset library or just a separate different assets to select, so they have the choice and the ability to select many assets and make the app more personal. The second one, deleting assets. Deleting assets means the user can make changes to their design. They don't have to start from scratch if they go wrong. All they got to do is select the chosen asset and delete it, and then they can reselect it and place it again. And finally, the scaling was most important to our target group, because it gives the user the ability to look into the future as to what they're buying into, what they're investing their money into, so they can see trees, plants, flowers, maybe 5, 10, 15 years into the future, so they can see what they're investing in. Yes. So the main thing with the app is the 3D assets. Initially, the low poly was more favoured for our group because it gave the app a better aesthetic, just a more artistic feel to the design. However, when talking to our target groups and our test subjects, the realistic trees were the better option to go for. This is because it gives the client that they're working with a better view of what they're buying, and also our target group said that they sell trees, they don't sell art. So there's no need for an artistic 3D object. It's better to have a more realistic option on the screen. Yes, and finally, positive outcomes in further development. So towards the end of the project, we came up with, well, the positive outcomes were that the core functions that were in the app, so scaling, selecting, and deleting, they're working well and working together to give the app, to make the app work and give the user the wanted impression of a finalized garden design. However, the app, it's never 100% complete. So with the placing assets, it could be done more effectively. It could be more fluid, more intuitive. And by that I mean that you can place the assets from further away, and you can also move already placed assets into different places. Because at the minute, the process is quite slow and it could be more fluid. Yeah.
What we also want to add for the future is the possibility that the user can add his own assets. Maybe he has something special in his catalog that he can give his customer, then he can upload it in there. It would also be nice to make a 360-degree screenshot of the scene that you can distribute easily with your coworkers or other clients and stuff like that. So you have an image where you can move around and see everything captured in there. This is our team. We were 7 students from Interaktive Media and 2 exchange students that aren't shown here in the picture. And we also had a little help. A company called Gartenbau Borchert functioned as our test group and our target group, helped us developing the project, giving us feedback, what's good, what's not so good. Also, the University of Weinstefan, they told us a lot about plants and trees, how to make them look realistic and pleasing visually, and what you don't or should avoid doing when you are sketching or showing plants. And of course, we had professors that guided us through the project. Ludwig John and Erich Seifert. Sadly, Seifert couldn't send me a picture of himself in time, so I have to exclude it in one picture. He didn't make the deadline, so yeah. We are LandsApp, and we would like to help you create a new garden, to build something new. Visit our table. Thank you.